welcome to The Ultimate Fighter Season 30, Episode 9, titled Bring Your Lunchbox. Just Episode 9 of the show. Don't really have much else to say, except for thank you to everyone who watched the PBW vs AVW stream last night, the return stream. It was pretty dang great, so yeah, got quite a fair chunk to go through. I'm going to try and break it down bit by bit, so let's go. So, because this episode has a fight between two people on the same team, those being Zach Pauga and Jordan Hederman of Team Pena, Pena actually gives them the opportunity to do something that she was given an opportunity for back on Season 18 of The Ultimate Fighter in late 2013, because she had to fight one of her teammates, which she didn't want to do. So she didn't really want there to be like a coach's favoritism thing for this particular situation, and she told that to Zach and Jordan, and they trained on opposite ends of the gym. And this does sort of tie in with their training and prep, which I'll just get sort of out of the way. So the plan for Zach is to really focus on his striking and use his range and getting close, and the focus for Jordan is also to use his striking, which, considering he's the better wrestler between the two, is sort of an odd choice for him. But I was going to say he could use his short reach to get in, but they have like the same reach, like the exact same reach. The numbers are identical. So yeah, I don't really know what the plan was for Jordan except for stand-up and striking. I mean, it worked okay for him against Chandler Cole in a fight that he definitely should have lost. But yeah, that's still besides the point. So yeah, I thought I'd bring that up because it's interesting how they tie that back to Season 18, and I'm really glad that they sort of mentioned that. Well, Juliana and Pena mentioned it at least. And it was pretty fun to bring up. And she even gave them the opportunity to, because she wasn't going to corner either of them because she didn't want to show favoritism, she actually called in their coaches from their respective gyms from back home where they actually live. And this is a first. It's an actual first in The Ultimate Fighter, and I'm so glad someone actually did it. It was just a really cool move, and Juliana, with both boys being on her team, she didn't really want to pick one over the other, which is something that not a lot of coaches will afford their fighters in shows like this. Well, in the only show like this is the only show I know that does it this way. But I thought that was pretty cool of Juliana, so yeah, really good shit. Having said that, this episode was not without its drama, so as they start in the episode, even though I did go through a lot already, as they're training, someone notices that Helen is a bit sluggish, and that someone is Laura Gallardo, who mentioned smelling alcohol in Helen's breath. So she tells Pena sits Helen down, and Helen says that she's okay, but then she starts to have an emotional breakdown, saying that she's sad about her loss earlier in the season, and she was the only one drinking last night. She showed up drunk, and I have to say I'm on Gallardo's side for telling Pena about that, because you should not show up to this profession intoxicated. Like, it was just very, very poor. I don't know why I looked at my phone and the time. Like, I can just look right here. It's almost 4 o'clock. And it was good on Gallardo to actually tell Pena about it. And they sort of had an intervention back at the house. They were all sat down. It was Helen, Gallardo, I think Hannah Guy was there as well, and Muhammad Usman, who actually gave Helen a pretty rousing pep talk and told her that this shit is tough, but you are going to get through it, and we're a team and we're all here for you, but you can't go doing that again. You can't show up to work drunk again. And Helen, who was a bit more sobered up by this point, was like, alright, fair enough. And she was initially pissed at Gallardo for telling Pena that she was drunk, but she forgave her, gave her a dap and a hug. So it was pretty nice to see it resolved. It is something I hope doesn't come back around, personally, because I'm not a huge fan of overly dramatic bullshit in The Ultimate Fighter. I'm just not. I get it, like, they're human beings, but it's part of the reason why I didn't like that season with Eddie Alvarez and Justin Gaethje coaching, because Lauren Murphy just stirred so much shit, and I hated it for it in that season. So I'm glad that Helen was able to put that bullshit aside, and I really hope she doesn't stir the pot, so to speak. I really don't want that to keep happening in the show. Having said that, with everything that the fighters have gone through, after the training, after the intervention, and so on, we get the coach's challenge, and as we saw a preview of last week, at the end of last week's episode, it is indeed axe throwing. Something that Pena was, I was going to say jealous, a bit nervous to do because she'd never really done it before, but Nunes was more excited. I don't remember if Nunes said she ever actually did it before, but she seems to have a better handle of it, as evidenced by the game itself. I am not a huge fan of axe throwing. It just seems like darts but more convoluted to me, and I'm not a big fan of darts either. But it was still pretty cool, you know. Dana laid out the rules for them, basically said, you know, you win this amount of money for yourself, and you win like a shorter amount of money for your teammates. And first round goes really well for Nunes. I don't remember her point total, I think it was like 7 or something at the end of the first round of axe throwing. It was probably a bit less than that, and Pena could barely get an axe on the board at all. She got one bullseye in like round 2, and I apologize for skimming over some stuff, but like it was just 5 rounds of 3 throws each, and Pena missed the board a lot. I think Nunes only missed the board like once or twice, and Nunes absolutely wiped the floor with this challenge. I think the final score was 20-11, and the only way that Pena could have won, by the way, was with 3 bullseyes in a row. That's the only way she could tie it up in round 5, because she was going second and Nunes was going first. So they did this amazing thing for her last throw, for Pena's last throw, where she had the axe. She didn't really know how to hold the axe properly, by the way. I don't either, as you can see evidence there. Like, Nunes looked like she knew what she was doing when it came to the basic holding of an axe. But for Pena, for a final throw, they put the pressure on her. They said, you've got to get 3 bullseyes to do this. And they fucking did it all in that sports movie way. The slowdown, the camera sort of attached to the axe as it's spinning slowly, the inspirational music, and it barely clips the top of the board and then falls off so it doesn't stick. And it was so unintentionally funny, and I could not stop fucking laughing at it. Like, I'm laughing thinking about it right now. I felt so bad for Pena after that, I really did. But props to Nunes getting the win and pretty much a landslide for the Coaches Challenge. I won't lie and say it's my favourite Coaches Challenge. It's a fairly unique one, you know, especially picking up on something that's growing in popularity. Like, axe throwing is pretty popular for a reason, even though I don't go out and seek it myself. But yeah, pretty cool how it went down. Nunes got the win fair and square. So sorry, I'm just like that inspirational music and it was only missing a record scratch from being like 11 out of 10 comedy, because that was so funny. And I feel so bad for Juliana Pena, but it was so funny. We then do have a couple of miniature segments to get through before we get to the fight itself. So first of all, it's Zach Pauger's birthday, or it was at the time of recording that episode. So yeah, he got a birthday. He got a cake, which actually the rest of Team Pena actually sorted out for him. And they actually called his family or something because they got his cake right. They got his preferred birthday cake right. And they all chipped in and wrote on a birthday card for him. And Juliana Miller even did an adorable little rap. And I actually quite liked it. I'm turning around on Juliana Miller as this season goes. I really, really am. But yeah, everyone was just happy. They celebrated Zach's birthday. And it was a good time. He hit 34. So congrats to Zach. And then the segment after that was, because of it being the semi-finals, Dana knows that there's a lot of pressure on them, so he gave Zach and Jordan the opportunity to call their families. And Zach did that. He called his wife and their 2 kids, and just had to sit down and chill with them. And Jordan basically did the same with his girlfriend, you know, just had to sit down and chill with her. Well, I say sit down and chill. They weren't actually talking in real life. It was like a Zoom call sort of thing. But I really like that the UFC kept this, because I was kind of worried that they wouldn't. But I am glad that they did, you know, being able to call your family and friends back home to take off some of the pressure, especially considering how much the competition is mounting now. Really, really good choice. I like it. Of course, we then get to the fight itself, and I don't want to cover the weigh-ins because it was, you know, it's the heavyweights. No one really cares about the weigh-ins when it's heavyweights. They get so much free range to fluctuate their weight. It's borderline unfair compared to the other, 14 divisions? I don't like that. I kind of don't like it. I think the heavyweights are being greedy, ironically, but still. I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, the fight. So it starts and goes really well for Zach. He hits Jordan with some really good shots. He's landing some amazing jabs, setting things up with the jab well. Lands a really good 1-2 right down the pipe that does stun Jordan. And Jordan is trying to counter with some good lefts of his own, some really good looping hooks. But there's a great moment where like Zach is just sticking moving and moving out of the way wonderfully from the hooks, able to counter more and just land more shots. And much like the coaches that they flew in were telling them, like Jordan's coach was telling him to keep his right hand up because the left hand because Zach's left kept landing on him, and it did. Jordan was trying to go for a takedown. He did eventually get Zach against the cage, and even managed to trip him and sort of get his back. and tried to climb up it for a submission of sorts, but Zack was able to get up and escaped it pretty quick. This was like halfway through the round. And then after that, it was mostly just stand-ups. Jordan was completely gassed. Zack kept landing shots on him, kept stunning him, landed some beautiful stuff to the body, threw a nice left jab to the body, and just kept punching him on the feet. Jordan was not really landing many strikes. He landed some head kicks, which Zack blocked or dodged. Zack landed a head kick on Jordan, which connected really well. And near the end of the round, Zack even ended it with a great combo of like a spinning back fist and then a Muay Thai clinch knee, and then some other strikes to sort of finish the round out. And round 1 easily goes to Zack. He just had so much more control. He was taken down, but it was very brief, and Jordan, while he did have some decent amount of clinch time, it was like 30-40 seconds, he didn't do a lot with it, and when they broke away, it was clear that Zack was winning on the feet anyway, so I'll give round 1 to Zack. Round 2 starts barely. Zack hits Jordan with a nasty left hook that stunned Jordan early, and then about 30 seconds pass, Zack keeps landing shots, and he lands a beauty of a left hook which stuns Jordan, lands a combo, knocks Jordan down, has him against the cage, immediately mounts on him, lands a lot of shots, and within about 38 seconds, he wins the fight via TKO in the second round. Pretty good stuff. It was kind of an easy call, though. I had a feeling that Zack was going to just storm through Jordan, personally, and nothing against the fight itself. It was pretty fun in the first round, but it was very one-sided too. And Zack, what a way to celebrate his birthday with a really good victory. And he moves on to the finals. He's going to be in the finale, and that is going to be a lot of fun. And the only other thing to talk about is the next fight, which I think is Laura Gallardo from Team Pena versus Brogan Walker from Team Nunes. So that's going to be quite interesting. That's going to be next week's episode. I actually quite liked this week's episode as well. It was a pretty decent fight. I liked the finish quite a bit. Like, Zack was just on form. He was damn near flawless in this fight. Some pretty interesting stuff happened too. It was an okay coach's challenge, but they can't all be winners. So, yeah, that'll about do it. I can't think of much else to do or say. Tomorrow, Music of the Week episode. Friday night, more Psychonauts 2 Let's Play streaming. That's about it. As always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye-bye.